I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the man has, as a sponsor for his show, the House of Feruza Barbershop, and look at him, he needs a haircut. I do. I desperately do. But I tell you, I'm got an appointment with Sam right after we're done taping here. So next time you see me on air, I'll be all styling and profiling and looking debonair. All those ladies lined up, yeah, they'll be in front of my house. But tonight, I got a couple of really good films I need to talk to you about, and the official Rick's Reel store is open. We've got a whole lot more coming up on tonight's show as cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Greetings, salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. And you know, it's been a while since we've done one of these shows, so I thought, well, we should probably kick it off with a bang. Let's give something away. This is the latest creature feature from the folks at Go Well USA. It's called Crocodile Island. See, a man and his daughter crash their plane on this remote island infested with giant crocodiles and giant spiders. And they need to fight and struggle their way to survival and escape from the... Sounds like a good movie. What the heck? I'm going to give you the opportunity to add it to your home video collection. You know, no sense being like these, globalists, you will own nothing, you will be happy. No. You bring these movies down a lot of time digitally and you end up losing them when you change platform or service. Sometimes they just corrupt and they're... No, this is going to be a Blu-ray edition. So you will have this constantly in your home video collection, and it's free. All you need to do is send me a return address in which I can send the thing to you, and you've got it. Let's take a look now at Crocodile Island.
这运输机本来是用来运化学试剂的。
周围那么大，我们看不见它，它也看不见我们。不对，我被包围了。
警告你，离我女儿远一点。
我以为再也见不到你了。
赶快走！
赶快走！赶快！畜生，过来！畜生！我不想死，千万别来追我！
That's Crocodile Island. This movie doesn't officially open until November 21st, so you get a chance to have it in your home video collection, probably about a week or so before it even opens up. Not a bad deal, right? Just let me know your return address here. I'll drop one in the mail to you, and it can be yours, courtesy of the folks from Wellgo USA. All right, let's get started with tonight's show, shall we? You know, Nicolas Cage, he really does Westerns well, I have to admit. Last year, you'll recall I did a review of a movie he did called The Old Way. And that movie is still garnering an awful lot of views on the social networks. And now he is out with another Western called Butcher's Crossing. Now, there's a little bit of background to this movie. Butcher's Crossing comes from a book of the same name written by John Williams, not the composer, the author. Okay, the book originally was considered one of the key novels to break Western stereotypes. You know, the old glorified version of the Old West filled with a lot of heroes and what have you. Yeah, it was one of three main books that kind of broke that apart and presented a more gritty, or what they term a realistic version of Western times. Now, in cinema, this was done by two directors primarily. One, of course, was Sam Peckinpah, who really brought out the violence of the West. And the other one was Walter Hill, who had a really dark and seamy side to the West, rather than this, very glorified John Wayne type of vision to it. Well, this was the book version of that. And this movie is really a lot different, and it especially has a completely different ending than the book does. In fact, the ending of this movie pales in comparison to the ending of the book. The ending of the book was much better. Our main character is Will, and Will is played by Fred Hechinger. Now, he has a rather sweet life. His father is a minister, and he is already attending Harvard. So he's going to follow in his father's footsteps, and his life is pretty much going to be a nice, cushy one. But Will is filled with a spirit, and he wants to get out and see the world. He wants to travel to the West. He wants to experience life and try to find God. Well, instead he finds Miller, and Miller is played by Nicolas Cage. Miller is a buffalo hunter, and he has a quest. And that quest is to make a rather impossible journey to a very sequestered valley in Colorado, and there he hopes to partake in the largest buffalo hunt in history. Now, this persona allows our buddy Nick Cage to slip into his manic rants as killing buffalo becomes more crucial to him than the safety of his crew. Joining Will and Miller are Fred, who is played by Jeremy Bobb. He's a Skinner with a very rebellious, me-first type of personality. And Charlie, who is played by Xander Berkeley. He's an old religious packer who manages the troops' camp. Now, behind the camera are David Gallego as director of photography, and Nick Pizzillo as editor. They perform very well. The film has a very good look, and it is paced well. Also, the film is written and directed by Gabe Polsky. Saban Films has been very comfortable with Westerns lately, and this one is really held together by Nick Cage's performance. It's a good movie. I think you'll like it. It earns a solid B.
Dear Father, I decided to leave Harvard and travel west. I hope to find a stronger purpose and more meaning in my life.
What can I do for you?
I would like to go on a hunt.
Miller, there's no sense shooting more than we can skin. You will skin them, Fred, or I'll shoot you.
What are we still doing out here?
I'm out here to hunt buffalo, haul back their hides, and sell them. When we're done, we'll sure have something to show for them.
You better start running, 'cause it's gonna come down.
Say there's an awful lot going on in Tinsel. There always is, right? But I'd like to pick out some of the better tidbits for you to let you know what's going on. I guess some of the biggest news is that Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling are returning to their roles to the prequel that is planned for Barbie. I ran a survey of this up on the social sites, and overwhelmingly, nobody wanted to see this. That could just be my audience, but apparently the studio thinks it's going to be another blockbuster. So we're getting a prequel to Barbie, and well, there you have it. It's it's all about the dollars, I guess. Speaking of dollars, Godzilla -1 cleaned up the clock in Japan as far as box office is concerned. It even beat out Shin Godzilla, which was the previous record holder. So it's doing well, and we should have it here in just a few weeks. Be kind of interesting. Prey Interesting story here. There's been a lot of rumors going around on the internet about the next Prey movie, and I guess some fans or what have you came up with this poster that shows Prey. The second Prey is going to be held during World War II. The poster looks great. We'll show you a picture of it here, and it had everybody fooled. They thought this is what was coming, and that we were going to get a series of Predator movies based on different time periods in history. Turns out it was basically just a fanboy doing this type of thing, even though it looks really good. And that's not what Disney is planning to do with Prey. They want to keep with the Indian or Native American motif, if you will, and they want to go back to that and do a second movie in that vein. Most people online don't want that. They would rather have the different parts in history go through. So Disney has been ignoring fans completely. So we'll wait and see how that goes over. And this is really kind of interesting. I want to talk to you about Chilling. Chilling is a brand new service, and it's designed to help profile independent horror film makers. Now, you might step back a little bit and say, yes, but Professor, doesn't Shudder do a similar... Well, yeah, Shudder is a service devoted completely to horror films. And a lot of them are independent, and a lot of them are foreign, come from Europe or Asia or what have you. That is all true. What makes Chilling different is it's interactive, so that the directors and the producers of the independent horror films can actually run their movies up and get feedback from people watching it, and then, like Bruce Lee said, you take what is useful and you leave the rest. So you can actually see these films as they're being developed, and then the producers of the films can alter them or change them before they look for distribution based on the reaction from the people globally who are watching it. Kind of a unique, I think, little experience here. The first movie that they're really bringing up is a movie called Gale. That's Gale. And it's a take on the Wizard of Oz. It's from Dorothy's granddaughter's viewpoint. Now, Gale was written by Matt Ford, and the director was Daniel Alexander. Starring in the movie are Chloe Crump, Laura Bailey, Clara Emanuel. She plays Glinda. Remember the Good Witch? She comes down in a big bubble. So she's still a female, but now instead of being, all white and symbolic of purity or whatever, she's black. So even when you have a very independent type of streaming service that can do whatever, the PC gods still come in and kind of dictate an awful lot of things. This story was not bad. It was kind of interesting. I enjoyed watching it. It's a short little story. It literally begs for further episodes. And if this is any indication of where Chilling is going, folks could be onto something. Here's a look now at Gale. I've got a whole lot more to tell you about when Outtakes with Rex Reel continues, right after this. You know, the old saying goes, I got good news and I've got bad news. So let me start with the good news first. The House of Fairuza Cigar Lounge has just unveiled a whole new lineup of quality cigars for the fall season. Folks, I've had the opportunity to sample some of these. They are magnificent. They truly are. And they're down there now. You could stop in. They're located at the corner of South Park Road and Drake Road. The whole new collection is in and they are amazing. Sam can even help you with it. You say, well, okay, that's fine, but what about the bad news? Well, the bad news is that dues memberships to join the Cigar Lounge are going to go up in the winter. Yeah, things are costing a lot more all the way around. But wait, it's not all bad. There's good news to go with the bad. And that is that if you lock in your price now, you avoid the price increase. So let's not call it good news, bad news. Let's call it good news, good news. You've got a whole brand new lineup of cigars, which are simply amazing. And if you lock in your due rate now, the increase won't affect you. Can't go wrong. Yeah, that's a win-win situation. The House of Fairuza Cigar Lounge. It's located on the corner of South Park Road and Drake Road. Stop by and see them today. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, I think it is time. It is time for us to go back to the early Cretaceous period and join in with the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic. Here is Rex Real.
Wanted this to be good. Has a dinosaur, a plesiosaur, who spits like a dilophosaur and inserts parasites like a face hugger. But instead of chest bursters, they are spine busters. Tyler James is director, writer, and editor. He's bad at all of them. Most editing is done out of sequence. The plot is silly and unexplained as to why the team turns on itself. Dan Gittins, Becca Herani, and May Kelly star. Watch this one only if you're already asleep.
I've been waiting the whole show to tell you about this movie. It's from Saban Films, and they really have a winner with this. It's called Kane. Now, the city's top gangster is absolutely ruthless, but he also suffers from multiple personality disorder. The plot of this movie becomes complicated when the boss puts out a hit on one of his other personalities. The tale is told from the perspective of the Kingpin's driver. This is really an entertaining film. It was written and directed by Blair Moore. He's done a great job. And he's patterned this movie, which clocks in at only 1 hour and 19 minutes, much like Guy Ritchie puts his movies together, and there is never anything wrong with that. He orchestrates the plot by having different anchors play the different characters of this one mob boss. Now, the mob boss is named Abe, and he is played by Jeremy Taylor. His two other key personalities are played by Jake Ryan and Martin Wall. Nathan Phillips is Frankie. He is the rival mob boss from the south side of town, and he wants to start a war so he can take over Abe's territory. And Clayton Watson is Abe's driver. He's caught in the conflict, and we see the story from his perspective. I've got to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. You need to pour yourself a nice, solid, but smooth bourbon and relax and watch this movie. It will take you on one clean, smooth ride. And remember, Benny is only the driver.
This is Abe. Abe is a gangster.
Or a princess.
But the thing is, Abe suffers from multiple personalities.
Just got that tingly feeling. You see, we're all monsters.
This is darkness. Something happened. He came back as a different person.
You play chess? I love a game. What are we playing for?
How about the loser dice?
That little daughter of yours? Yeah, one phone call.
Boss, the place is empty.
It's just a box. What's in the box?
Boom.
It wasn't him! Someone else! He wasn't there!
You wanna play this game? Said you wanna play this game?
We prey on the innocent and weak. I know what I am. A monster! Today's a good day to die.
A lot of you have been asking about the official Rex Reel merchandise, and I'm happy to say that the store is open. I probably should tip my hat to my fellow BPTV program producer, Eric Sprouse, and his alter ego, Captain Calico Drake, because they turned me on to the folks at Redbubble. And the first part of the Rex Reel store is now open. We are featuring the baseball caps. I like these. They're called dad caps. They come in a variety of colors. This one is the white one. And the reason we're highlighting these and releasing these first is because Redbubble is running a 20% discount on hats all the way till the end of the month. So this is an excellent time for you to fill up some of your shopping list there for Christmas. You can get these gifts. These are great. They're going to be in huge demand in all colors. The official Rex Reel baseball cap, dad cap as they call them, it is available now. Here is the URL. It's kind of long, so we'll leave that up for a little bit so that you have enough time to copy it down. That'll take you right to the page. You can order from the page and, like I said, fill up your Christmas list. More things to come, but right now we do have the dad's cap, baseball cap, the official Rex Reel version. Fun stuff, and a lot of fun stuff coming in the weeks ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, what can I say about this movie? It has cheesy special effects. It has terrible dialogue, bad acting, and an absolutely lousy script. You know, I can't even believe that the folks from Uncorked released this. Usually they're a little more discerning. And then I found out why they may have done it. This movie was helmed by Scott Chambers. And you're going to say, my God, Professor, who is Scott Chambers? Scott Chambers is a pseudonym for Scott Jeffries. And if you've been following my show for the last couple of years, you know that Scott Jeffries is a celluloid hero to me. This man has produced 114 movies, full-length feature movies in the last 8 years. And they have all had global distribution. Okay? What this guy does is absolutely... I'll tell you what turned me on to this. I made it through the whole movie, and I was looking at the end credits, And I saw on there that the camera guys, the director of photography was Vince Knight. And the director was Tyler James. And I knew those names. They're part of Scott Jeffries' crew. The stars were Derek Miller, Chloe Carr, and Danielle Scott. Danielle Scott's in all his movies. So as soon as I saw those names, I said, wait, what transpires here? And it didn't take long to do a nice little search and find out, yes, Scott Chambers is Scott Jeffries. Why did he change his name? I don't know. He's in stealth mode or something. Maybe people were getting tired of seeing Scott Jeffries and he figured, I'll put these movies out under a pseudonym. He's got a ton of them. Now, a lot of them are kind of fun to watch. This one, oh my God. Okay, we know what Sharknado is all about. And we've all seen these absolutely horrendous movies that come on the Sci-Fi Network where there's either a giant crocodile, a giant snake, or a giant shark. And generally, they're matted very, very poorly. I mean, just high school level type matting on these things, right? Well, what Scott has done in this movie, he's taken all three of those big monsters and he's put them in one tornado. So we have Monster Nado. I would tell you how bad this movie is. When the monsters are flying out of the tornado, there's a storm. That makes sense. Tornadoes are storms. Skies are gray, the set is gray, wind blowing and all kind of. Then when the people talk about what's happening, it's a bright, sunny California day. It's supposed to be the same time, but we switch from storm to sun to storm to sun. Absolutely horrendous. And here's the kicker. Brace yourself. In addition to the poorly matted creatures that we're used to, Scott and his crew have added another one. It's a giant octopus. Folks, they didn't have to mat this because it's a balloon. It's a big, giant balloon. And it's pink and green and yellow. I couldn't make this up. You think you're watching some demented Sesame Street when you watch this thing. I like Scott Jeffries. I mean, I think what he's doing is just, it's a whole lot of fun. And he has made some movies that truly are a lot of fun. But this is not one of them.
Something's coming, and it's bringing all of hell with it. We need to go.
I would love to talk more movies with you, but we're fresh out of time and I've got to go. Hey, you can stay in touch with everything Rex Reel that's going on through our social networks. That's Rumble, YouTube, Gab, and MeWe, and we're on LinkedIn as well. Don't forget to check out the big hat sale on the Redbubble store. And a lot of you might want to follow us on Facebook. We're having some problems with Facebook. They're kind of censoring us. Because when you're the purveyor of truth in movies, sometimes that truth just doesn't go with their collective narrative, and as a result, they're kind of like hiding our posts and what have you. But if you look hard enough, I'm sure you can find us. So now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.